My babies, we're recording. Hi, what's going on? How's it been? A while, not so long. I don't know. Maybe to you it's been a couple of weeks. To me it's been like month and a week. I literally had like 3 weeks recordings. But I did two videos before this. I don't know, man. Today's video is based on something I wrote about, I think, 2 months ago, a few months ago. Opening your mouth is real. Once you hear yourself, everything changes. Uh, you will either back off or move forward. Thrust forward is the word I use. I get it, most of you are probably not really used to me looking this way or whatever it is. Plus, summer is coming. But I have updates. This motherfucker is a father now. Yeah, he knocked the other one, Smurfette, and we have two kittens in the house. Soon, when they're walking, I'll bring them so you can play with them. Mm. Secondly, it's been a month since 4 weeks since I've been actually working on the bootcamp, and it's completely different, like structure language that discusses things directly with the computer instead of with browsers. Because before I web developed, but now it's software engineering. You get to kind of like decide how you want your software to discuss things with the computer, and then from there you'll be able to build any kind of form you want. It's fun. My dad retired, and I went to Dubai for 2 days, of which I got detached completely, and I'm feeling it today. But I'll talk about it in a bit. So my dad is a pilot, and he retired, and his last flight was yesterday. So I went to Dubai, the family, for like 3 days in order to kind of like bring him back on his last small voyage. Should they call it maiden voyage or something like this? I don't know. So it was fun. Well, I sat in the cockpit with him for the last time. I won't be able to do that anymore. And it was one of those kind of like his speech talked about the only thing that's important is the present. It's funny because it happened yesterday. And while he was having this speech, all of us were kind of like listening. And then that just kind of like the more he spoke, the more the present eluded us, right? And beautiful. It's just like he finally retired. It's been his dream, and let's see how he handles kind of like having to do shit the way he used to do it for like 45 years. With the distance he traveled, he explained that he could have traveled to the moon 5, 6 times and back, or about 500, 650 times around the world, given the miles that he has actually like just yearly, how many times he traveled to different places. 44 fucking years, man. So there's a substantial weight of his past. It's kind of like completely gone now. All he has is now I live for myself and do whatever the fuck I want. But him actually like retiring kind of makes me look at myself and be like, uh, for his 44 years of work, I technically have 18 years of work. And the way we are interacting and the way I have been like developing things from when we started. The best I could say is I started from scratch from experience though, but my 18 years of work are kind of like piling up only from an experience perspective. So right now it feels like I have only about 6 months of actual experience that's building on top of itself. Which is funny. On top of all of that, other than that, just funny. It's the different conversations. I wrote a few notes, but we have to get through a lot, man. We have to get through a lot, man. With the programming like bootcamp finishing, I'll be able to kind of like engage. There's a new pattern that I'm planning on going through, and I want to discuss this with you guys. But I think I'll discuss this with you guys like in a couple of days after I finish doing the test. We have an 8-hour test, by the way. Yay, bootcamp. But anyways, uh, a friend of mine that came from شو اسمه, have you ever heard a song? All right. That sounds beautiful. It makes sense. But the story isn't as interesting as, but the story behind it kind of reveals itself the more you hear the song. You know, like one of those songs where you would actually like understand, you would listen to, and your heart would kind of go, huh, but after three, four times, you kind of go like, okay, and then what? So it's funny because I don't know. I read a quote today that perfectly explains how I actually looked, how I actually felt my the presence of somebody, which I was trying my best. I don't know. I was trying to be a good friend to them until they were like, "Hey, you don't have to step on eggshells anytime you're around us." And then naturally, when that happens, I relax. And the minute I relax, it's a test, right? Like people do that to test you. You could be yourself, and even though you said nothing wrong or you said nothing off, you just do no longer fill the pattern they're comfortable with or they feel safe around or whatever it is. But anyways, it reminded me of a Nietzsche's quote, and I like searched for it online. Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. I didn't say anything. All I did was ask about the truth. Because you know, people make statements in order for them to kind of like fill the empty spaces. Whatever, man. I think people should just be proud of what they're doing. That'll be enough. But for some reason these days, trauma is the new hype, is the new thing, is the new I am trying, I'm finding, I'm healing, all that kind of stuff. Like we always are, but like the whole point of healing is not to interfere, right? But anyways, 7 minutes and 25 seconds, and I still have not completed my update. But anyway, so maybe I'll just talk about next week's new routine. So something happened over this past week that got me more inspired about just how I would want to try coding differently. And partially because my father kind of like retired. Another concept behind it was the fact that I've been always trying to figure out the best or try to be better and all that kind of stuff. And the other day I was just reflecting on it and I was like trying kind of like to look up and reflect on, I don't know, strength from God, strength from the universe. It's been feeling antsy over the past, I've been feeling weak over the past couple of things. Oh, okay, yeah. Uh, as well, like there was this married woman that kept insisting that she wanted to hang out, and the day we hung out, she kind of like we didn't hang out, nothing happened. But the day we hung out, she kind of just realized she's been acting like a kid until we did. And when I called her out on it, she completely was very like, what do you expect when you put candy in front of a kid and you tell him you can't do it? And I thought she was cool. And then it kind of like made me realize that I wanted her to be cool a certain kind of way, and I didn't like the fact that she wasn't as I portrayed her to be, and that kind of like shook my core a bit because I kind of built a personality around how I interact with her, and she was cool. She still is cool. She's still a cool person. It's just like me and her are not cool the way I thought we were cool, right? The way we interact with each other and the way I am around her. It's just, I don't know. It felt like I was literally being an adult when I was supposed to hang out with her. And she felt like all she wanted was a babysitter to do the stuff that she wanted to do. Fuck, man, people, right? I have no idea what to do, what to say. But it's in a fucking experience. But so over all of that, I've been kind of like this month has been my routine being flushed, but I'm consistent with one thing daily, which is the walking part. Except when I went to Dubai the second day. Not the second day, yes. I did walk in Dubai to go get stuff, but the walking, like I'm going to walk for the sake of walking, I didn't get to do that. And I don't know how it feels. And I definitely heard myself saying that I'm going to be basic. It was small. I'm gonna do one day twice for that day here when I come to Lebanon. And I think I'll do 2 days because the second day doesn't really count. But other than that, my routine of waking up early, doing stuff was completely shot. And at one point I blamed it on the people that I've been meeting and the energy of the place and everything like this. But then my dad reminded me of a saying, like, the sage went into the fucking wilderness in order to like reach enlightenment. And when he comes back, the minute he sees like an attractive woman, he kind of loses it. What the fuck's the point? So yeah, and I guess that's just like the bunch of stuff that happened this month. And I'm going to still do this video. Opening your mouth is real because everything changes. But like, this video is going to be an update, and I'm going to do this video. And starting Saturday, or actually starting Sunday, I would go back to my own time, my own consistency, my own rhythm, and I'm going to create something new as a rhythm, and I'm going to try to work through it, and I'm going to see if I'm going to basically explain it to you guys, create the map with you guys, and the plan and the daily routine with you guys. And the goal is for me to kind of like just indulge in the things that make me feel good in order for me to make me to kind of like allow me to build, to finish the website. Because it feels every time I'm working towards the website, what I'm doing is I'm actually like wasting time. And every time I'm working on myself or towards myself, for myself, the website basically becomes easier to finish. And naturally, I'm not working towards myself from an egocentric perspective, just taking care of myself, right? It's like I'm sacrificing everything for myself, so everything becomes a feeding ground. But I'll actually like have this conversation with you in more detail next time. As for that, it's a video. Domo.